Okay, so hi guys, this is how this is going to work. I am going to teach you a new lesson in this video, and you're going to take notes in your book creator notebook. And then when you come to class, again, we'll do practice problems on these topics. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to operate complex numbers. So the title of this is Complex Numbers and Got Operations. All right. So first thing we're going to start with is our standard. We're going to start with our standard. So the standard is for you to understand the powers of I and know the forms of complex numbers and use the commutative, associative, and distributive property to add and subtract complex numbers, add, subtract, and multiply complex numbers, and then use complex conjugates to find the quotient. But we're going to break this down little bit by little bit. So what you're going to learn in this lesson is how to find the sum and difference of complex numbers, how to identify the parts of a complex number, how to write a complex number, and how to determine the complex conjugate. These are the key vocabulary words. Make sure you copy them down in your notebook. A complex number is a number with a real part and imaginary part. And it's normally written in the form a plus or minus bi. All right, the next one is the complex conjugate. It is the complex conjugate is when the imaginary part of the complex number is changed to its opposite sign. It's changed to its additive inverse. Let's call it that because that's what it's called. So I is the symbol for imaginary number. Difference is the results from subtraction. And sum is the results from addition. All right, make sure you get these words in your book for vocabulary. Ready? So here's an example problem. Here's the problem. It says find the sum of 7 plus 6i and negative 5 plus 2i. So here I'm going to say sum is the result of adding. So I'm going to say 7 plus 6i. And then under there, since this is plus, I'm going to say plus negative 5 plus 2i. So I line up the real pieces and the imaginary pieces. So here's 7 minus 5, and I put the plus there because it said sum. But 7 minus 5 is 2. And anytime you see a plus and minus beside each other, you can just put the minus. And then in here, we get 6 plus 2 is 8i. So the real part of this number is 2, the imaginary part is I, and then it asks me what's the complex conjugate of this answer right here. Well, the definition says to keep the real part and to take the additive inverse of the imaginary part. So there you go. All right, let's keep going. Make sure you write these notes down in your notebook. Okay, and that's your notebook in Book Creator. This one says find the difference of 7 plus 6i and negative 5 plus 2i. Difference means the results of subtraction. So 7 plus 6i, and since it said difference, I'm going to say minus, and then put minus 5 plus 2i. Now you need to be careful with the difference sign, because now this minus right here is telling you to take the opposite of this one So I'm just going to rewrite it. So I'm going to say 7 plus 6i. That minus tells me to take the opposite of the 5, so that becomes a plus. And this minus tells me to take the opposite of the positive here, which is going to be negative 2i. So be very careful when you have a negative sign, because it's telling you to take the opposite of both of the numbers on the second part. And that's like distributing a negative 1. So now we can put a plus here now since we've taken care of that minus. So 7 plus 5 is 12. 6 minus 2 is 4, so that's plus 4i. So here the real part is 12, the imaginary part is 4i, and a complex conjugate of the answer means to take the opposite of the imaginary part, so we get 12 minus 4i. Okay, so your job is to practice this problem, and that should be in your notebook, and to practice this problem, which should be in your notebook. Let me see if there's another. No, that is it. And I'll see you guys in class. Bye. And put those answers in your notebook in Book Creator. I will check.